Welcome to Learn and Talk English. We're so glad you're here.
That's right. We know learning a new language can feel challenging, but we're here to make it fun and easy for you.
Our goal is to help you feel confident speaking English in any situation. Whether you're just starting your English journey or you're looking to brush up on your skills, we're here to guide you.
So are you ready to dive in and discover the exciting world of English fluency? Let's get started.
Today we're going to unlock the secret to English fluency.
It's about more than just knowing lots of words. It's about using them smoothly and naturally.
Imagine chatting with a friend in your native language. The words flow effortlessly, right?
Exactly. Fluency is all about recreating that same natural flow in English. It's about expressing your thoughts without stumbling over grammar or searching for the right vocabulary. Think of fluency as a dance between your mind and your mouth.
That's a great way to put it. Your mouth needs to be able to physically form the sounds of English, connecting words and phrases smoothly.
It's like training your tongue and lips to move in new ways, almost like learning a new dance routine.
Absolutely. But it's not just about the physical aspect. Your mind plays an equally important role. It's the control center, rapidly searching for vocabulary and constructing sentences in real time.
The golden rule of fluency: practice, practice, practice.
You can study grammar books all day long, but nothing beats actually using the language in real conversations.
It's like learning to ride a bike. You can read the manual 100 times, but you won't truly learn until you hop on and start pedaling.
Exactly. Find opportunities to immerse yourself in English conversations. Join a language exchange group chat with English-speaking colleagues or friends. Even talking to yourself in the mirror can help. Let's be honest, speaking a new language can feel nerve-wracking, especially in the beginning.
Those butterflies in your stomach are completely normal. Everyone goes through it.
Remember, making mistakes is a crucial part of learning. Don't be afraid to stumble, use the wrong word, or ask someone to repeat themselves. It's all part of the process.
The more you embrace these moments and allow yourself to learn from them, the faster you'll become a more confident and fluent English speaker. It's easy to let fear or self-consciousness hold us back from speaking English.
Absolutely, we've all been there. We worry about making mistakes, sounding silly, or not being understood.
But here's the secret. Everyone feels that way when they're learning something new. The key is to not let those feelings stop you.
Think about it this way. Every time you speak English, even if it's just a few words, you're taking a step closer to fluency. I was terrified to speak. I remember when I was first learning Spanish.
What helped you overcome that fear? Really? You always seem so confident speaking different languages.
My heart was racing. I remember one time I was at a restaurant in Barcelona and I had to order my food in Spanish. Honestly, it was just diving in and doing it.
I bet. What happened?
Well, I stumbled over my words a bit, but the waiter was so patient and helpful. And you know what? After I placed my order, I felt this incredible sense of accomplishment.
That's amazing. It's those little victories that keep us motivated, right?
Exactly. Every time you push past your comfort zone, you're building confidence and resilience.
And those are essential skills not just for language learning, but for life in general. So, to everyone watching, remember this. You are capable of achieving fluency.
It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing to try, to make mistakes, and to keep learning and growing.
We're here to support you every step of the way.
Now, let's move on to some practical techniques that can help you enhance your fluency even further.
Ready to supercharge your speaking skills? Let's talk about speed reading.
It might sound surprising, but speed reading is like a workout for your mouth.
Exactly. It helps you train your tongue and lips to move quickly and smoothly, forming those English sounds with ease.
Think of it like a sprinter practicing on the track. The more they practice, the faster and more effortless their movements become. The power of practice: repetition, repetition, repetition.
Make sure it's something you find interesting and engaging, so you'll stay motivated.
Here's how it works. Grab any English text. It could be a news article, a blog post, or even a page from your favorite book.
Don't worry about making mistakes or stumbling over words. Just focus on speaking smoothly and keeping up with the timer.
Now set a timer for 1 minute and start reading the text aloud as clearly and quickly as you can. Find your rhythm with songs.
Another fun and effective way to boost your fluency is by singing along to English songs.
That's right, music has a magical way of embedding language into our brains.
Choose a song you love, find the lyrics online, and start singing along.
Pay attention to the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation of the singer. Try to mimic their delivery as closely as possible. Challenge yourself, one song at a time.
Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. If you're feeling brave, try rapping along to a fast-paced hip-hop song.
Start with slower songs and gradually work your way up to faster ones.
So put on your favorite tunes and let the music guide you towards English mastery.
Remember, fluency is all about pushing your limits and having fun with the language. Now, let's shift gears and talk about how we learn vocabulary. It's a fascinating process that has evolved over time. Traditionally, we've been taught to memorize individual words, right? This method has been the cornerstone of language learning for decades.
Yes, like flashcards with an English word on one side. We often rely on these tools to build our vocabulary, and the translation in our native language on the other. It's a straightforward approach, but is it the most effective?
But think about it. When we speak naturally, we don't just throw out isolated words. Our communication is much more fluid and dynamic. We don't use words in isolation. Instead, we weave them into meaningful phrases and sentences that convey our thoughts and emotions. We string them together into phrases, sentences, and even longer chunks of language. This is how we naturally express ourselves, and even longer chunks of language. This holistic approach to language is what makes our communication so rich and nuanced.
That's so true. When we think about it, our brains are wired to understand and produce language in context. We don't think, okay, now I need the word for apple, and then search for the verb to eat. It's not a conscious effort. And the verb to eat? It's a seamless process where words and phrases come together effortlessly, and it all flows together. This natural flow is what we should aim for in our language learning journey.
And that's where traditional vocabulary learning often falls short. It keeps us stuck in translation mode, mentally switching back and forth between languages.
It's like trying to solve a complex math problem while juggling. Too much is happening at once.
Exactly. This mental juggling act slows us down and prevents us from achieving that smooth, effortless flow we call fluency.
So how do we break free from this translation trap and start thinking in English more naturally?
This is where the magic of chunking comes in. Instead of memorizing isolated words, we're going to start learning language in larger, more meaningful units.
Chunks can be phrases, sentences, or even longer expressions that commonly occur together in English.
For example, instead of just learning the word go, you could learn the phrase I'm going to, which is incredibly versatile.
Right. You could then create multiple sentences using this chunk. I'm going to the store, I'm going to meet a friend, I'm going to watch a movie. Our brains love patterns and shortcuts. This is because our brains are wired to recognize and create patterns, which helps us process information more efficiently. When we encounter new information, our brain tries to fit it into existing patterns or create new ones. This is why we often find it easier to remember things that are organized in a certain way. Chunking takes advantage of this by grouping related words together, creating a structure that our brains can easily follow. By organizing information into chunks, we reduce the cognitive load on our brains, making it easier to process and remember, making them easier to remember and retrieve. This technique is particularly useful when learning a new language or studying for exams, as it allows us to break down complex information into manageable pieces.
Think of it like packing for a trip. When you pack for a trip, you don't just throw everything into your suitcase haphazardly. Instead, you organize your items into categories, such as clothes, toiletries, and electronics. If you try to stuff individual socks and shirts into your suitcase, it becomes chaotic and you might struggle to find what you need when you arrive at your destination. It's going to be messy and inefficient. You might even forget to pack some important items because everything is so disorganized. But if you pack them together in organized cubes, everything fits neatly and you can find what you need quickly. This method not only saves space but also makes your travel experience much smoother. Everything fits neatly and you can find what you need quickly. The same principle applies to chunking information. By organizing related pieces of information together, we make it easier for our brains to store and retrieve them.
That's a great analogy. It really helps to visualize how chunking works and why it's so effective. Chunking helps our brains pack language in a more organized and accessible way. By grouping related words and phrases together, we create a mental map that makes it easier to navigate through the information.
Exactly. And the more we practice using these chunks, the more natural it becomes. Over time, our brains become more efficient at recognizing and using these patterns. And the more we use these chunks, the more ingrained they become in our memory, making it easier to recall the information when we need it. This is especially helpful in situations where we need to speak or write quickly, allowing us to speak more fluently and confidently. By using chunking, we can improve our language skills and become more effective communicators.
Now, let's look at how to put chunking into practice. Imagine you come across this sentence in your textbook. I went for a walk yesterday.
A simple sentence, right? But watch how we can transform it into a fluency-boosting tool.
Instead of just memorizing the sentence as it is, let's focus on the structure verb yesterday.
Now we have a framework that we can plug various verbs into.
Exactly. We can say I studied yesterday, I cooked yesterday, I watched a movie yesterday. The possibilities are endless.
The key is to practice these variations out loud, making them feel natural and automatic.
Right. Don't be afraid to get creative and have fun with it. You can even challenge yourself to come up with as many different verbs as possible within a certain time limit.
It's like a workout for your brain, strengthening those neural pathways and making fluency feel effortless. So, we've covered 3 powerful techniques today: speed reading, using songs, and chunking.
Each technique targets different aspects of fluency, helping you train both your mouth and your mind to work together seamlessly.
Remember, the key to success is consistency. Even dedicating just a few minutes each day to these practices can make a world of difference.
Think of them as essential tools in your fluency toolkit. The more you use them, the sharper and more effective they become. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below telling us about your fluency goals. Thanks for joining us today on Learn and Talk English. We hope you found this lesson helpful. Remember, every conversation is a chance to learn, grow, and become a more confident and fluent English speaker. And most importantly, don't be afraid to get out there and use your English in real-life situations. So, what do you think is the most important part of the journey to fluency?
That's a great question. I'd say understanding the basics of grammar and vocabulary is crucial. What about you?
Absolutely. And don't forget about mastering the art of conversation. It's all about practicing pronunciation and getting comfortable with the sounds and rhythms of the language, right?
Exactly. And embracing the power of chunks. Those useful phrases and expressions that make communication smoother and more natural. Do you think there's a finish line in this journey?
Not really. It's more about the continuous journey of learning and self-improvement. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It's an ongoing journey of discovery and growth. What do you think is the biggest challenge in this journey?
Pushing past your comfort zone and not being afraid to make mistakes. Those moments of challenge help you grow the most. How do you celebrate milestones?
By embracing every milestone, no matter how big or small, and it's important to remember that you're not alone on this journey. What kind of support do you think is most helpful?
Having a community of fellow learners who share their experiences and offer support. Engaging lessons, practical tips, and expert guidance are also key. Wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And a community that celebrates your progress with you. Together, we can achieve fluency and enjoy the journey along the way.
Now it's your turn. Which technique resonated with you the most? Speed reading, singing along to songs, or the power of chunking?
Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers, and your feedback helps us create even better content for you.
And remember, the most important thing is to keep practicing and keep having fun with English.
Thanks for joining us on Learn and Talk English. We'll see you in our next lesson.